Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mrs. Russo. I'm one of the counselors at Mountain House. We also have Mr. Cronin and Mrs. Lamy on with us today. Today, we're not presenting any specific material. We did send out those video recordings that were dedicated to each grade level. So you can find that information on the Mountain House High website under counseling and course selection. There's a page dedicated to each incoming grade level. So if you wanted to go back and watch the video presentation that your students received, there's also a PowerPoint linked on there, including all the resources that they would need, course list, course catalog, and all those types of things. Today is dedicated to question and answer format. We have a tiny URL on the screen for you or the QR code. Please feel free to enter your questions on that Google form. It's much easier for us to monitor that Google form than keep an eye on the chat. So please try to use that Google form to submit your questions. We are just going to wait and see until questions come in, and we will answer them as we see them come up. For those of you who just joined us, we are not going to be presenting any specific material this morning. We do have video presentations that were recorded and sent to our students a couple weeks ago for each dedicated grade level. So if your student is a current 9th, they would have an incoming 10th presentation. All of that information is located on the Mountain House High website. I think we can have Mrs. Lamy post it in the chat. There is under counseling and course selection, you'll be able to find those video recordings. And then Mrs. Slamy also just posted the link to our question form in the chat. So if you have a question for us today, go ahead and use that Google form by typing the tiny URL that you see on the screen, scanning the code that you see, or you can use the link that was posted in the chat. We will answer questions as we see them come into our form. So there's no specific material we're presenting today, just question and answer format. I do see one question in the chat. Try and make sure you're posting it on our Google form. That is what we are monitoring. But I will address this question. The question is, when will students be able to register for summer AP classes or early college classes? So we don't offer AP classes during the summer. If you mean your student is interested in taking a community college class during the summer, they're able to do so. The information for that is on our non-MHHS course page of the counseling website. So I would direct your student to counseling, non-MHHS. All the information that they need about taking classes with a community college is located there. Depending on your student's grade level will be what they're eligible to take for dual enrollment purposes. So if your student is a current 10th grader, they cannot take that U.S. history class that is assigned in 11th grade. The deadline for that has passed, but they can take English 12, Gov, and Econ at Delta to earn that dual enrollment opportunity. Mrs. Islami just posted the link to the non-MHHS course page. So I would direct your student. We have the steps to sign up for those courses listed on that page. It tells them step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, 5, and there's links for each step. So it really walks them through the entire process. If they have trouble, we have success dedicated to this topic, so they can sign up for counselor questions or non-MHHS courses. For AP courses, if a student signs up to take an AP course next year, so for example, if they signed up to take AP US History next year, for our AP courses, there is typically a summer homework assigned. That information will be updated on the website towards the end of the year.
Okay, our next question in our Google form: can students join 2 pathways or change them after the first year? Yes, students can join 2 pathways. Unfortunately, we cannot guarantee any elective, so you're going to want to make sure that your student has an alternative for that. We try our best to give students every classes they sign up for, but again, unfortunately, we cannot guarantee 7 classes. We guarantee 6 classes. Yes, students can change classes after the first year. Pathways are not required, nor do they have to finish them. Pathways were designed for students to figure out what they're interested in. So if your student's in a pathway and your student doesn't want to complete that pathway or finish that pathway, your student can switch to another class.
So we have a chat or a question that says, would you share some resources for summer internships for incoming seniors? We have a website called High School Navigator, HS Navigator. That's not our website. That's like a national database. So Mrs. Lamy is going to post that in the chat for you guys. That High School Navigator page is a page where students can go and put in their zip code or their state, their city, and search for internship opportunities that are available in that area. Keep in mind, some of those programs on the High School Navigator page are going to be programs that you have to pay for. Some of them are going to be free, and some of them may offer your student a stipend, in which they would earn a small stipend for completing the internship. Okay, our next question is AP Lang, 11th grade English, alternatives business writing from business pathway or taking English 11 at Delta, the differences, pros and cons. Okay, so I'm assuming this person is talking about the AP Lang class that we offer, or Tech Communications 1 from the business pathway, which does fulfill English requirement, or taking English 1A at Delta. They can do, whichever one they're most passionate about. If they're part of the business pathway, we would highly recommend them taking that TechCom 1 class so they can continue in the pathway and then continue on to Tech 2 in senior year in order to complete the full pathway. Now, if your student has decided they're no longer interested in business, they don't have to continue the pathway if they don't want to. For the AP Lang versus English 1A, those are going to be pretty similar because they both give you that college credit opportunity. The one positive about doing the English 1A class at Delta is they're guaranteeing themselves college credit because they're taking a community college class. So as long as they pass it, they're guaranteeing themselves the credit. And then as long as they complete it within our time frame, they will have it added to their high school transcript and won't have to take English during 11th grade year. English 1A is a weighted course similar to AP Lang. AP Lang, it gives them that opportunity to take that full year English class with us at Mountain House with Mrs. Schofield. She's a great teacher, so they'll definitely get a lot of support from her. With the AP Lang class, they do have the opportunity to take the AP exam at the end of the year. It's not required, but highly encouraged. It is something that you pay for, so that's something to keep in mind. If they pass that AP exam, then they earn college credit for taking that course. So it just kind of depends on what your student's goal is and what they have time for. So if you're a student as a current 10th grader, they can't take that English 1A class and use it for 11th grade. That deadline has passed. So
our next question in the chat is, my son is doing chemistry in sophomore year. Can he take physics honors in 11th grade? Does this fulfill A through G requirements? For this one, I'm going to refer you to our course catalog. Mrs. Islami posted our course catalog in the website or in our chat. Our course catalog, it has all of our courses that we offer at Mountain House High School with a brief description of what's in the course. It also has prerequisites for each class. So as long as your student has met the prerequisites for physics honors, your student can take that in 11th grade. And yes, this class does fulfill A through G requirements. It counts as a physical science.
The next question is, can we take online courses in BYU and would it be accepted? Wanted to know if Mountain House High School accepts courses taken in BYU. It really just depends on the course taken at BYU. We do accept courses from BYU. But again, that's a pretty vague question. So if you want to have your child send his or her counselor an email with the specific classes, we can help better answer that question. The next question also is, there is an email about state seal of biliteracy. Should the form be filled by the parent or student? Anytime pathway or state seal of biliteracy, those types of forms are expected to be filled out by the student, not the parents.
Our next question is Dance 1 considered a visual or performing art for UC A through G eligibility? So I'm guessing you mean our beginning dance class. That would be the first level in our dance pathway. Yes, it does count as a visual or performing arts for A through G eligibility. The other nice thing about the dance class is if your student takes one of our dance classes, we will submit a PE waiver for them as long as they complete 2 semesters and pass both semesters. So it'll waive that second year of PE. So they'll only need that PE from freshman year. One of our next questions was, is there any research programs for science students in the summer? I'm sure there is certain programs. There aren't any that we have right now that the school will offer. So you'll have to see if you guys can find any programs for your student in the summer. Usually if we get sent any programs, then we will go ahead and send them out for you guys to decide if you want your student to do them. I'm really sorry, my kid is talking in the back. The next question is, can a student start a pathway in 11th and finish it by 12th? We have a pathway guideline on our website under counseling and course selections that you can look at, but generally they would have to start in 9th or 10th grade.
Okay, our next question in the chat is, if we take AP Calculus AB in junior year, is it necessary to take the next level AP Calculus BC in senior year? No, it's not necessary. Students do not need to take the next level. They can if they want to, but it's not necessary. Our next question is, what if the business pathway doesn't, what if a student in the business pathway doesn't take Tech Communication 1? Does that mean they can't stay in the business pathway? So business, Technical Communications 1 is part of the business pathway. It's the third level of the business pathway. So if students don't take TechCom 1, then they're not going to complete the pathway.
Just as a reminder, if your student wants to take AP Lang and take TechCom 1, they can do that. So if they're interested in that AP Lang class or the English 1A class, whatever it may be, they can take TechCom 1 in addition if they're interested in completing the pathway. It would just then fall into the elective category. So that's just something to keep in mind. Our next question is, my son is planning to take AP World History next year. Can he take U.S. History in Delta College before 11th grade begins? So if your student is interested in taking a U.S. History at Delta College, they would be signing up for the History 17A class, and it would have to be completed by December of their 10th grade year. Okay, our articulation policies are extremely strict. So we do follow those deadlines. You have to complete the required course by December, the year before it is due. So for Gov and Econ in 12th grade, those would have to be completed by December of 11th grade. Okay, so they have to show us that proof of transcript before they sign up for their 12th grade classes. If when they're signing up for their 12th grade classes, they don't have that proof of transcript, we're going to require them to take the class with us.
I have posted the articulation matrix where it has the dates and the classes. And I've also posted the link for the non-MHHS courses in the chat.
Our next question is, what are the courses available in summer? Students can choose to take anything they want outside of Mountain House High. We just have very strict rules of what's eligible to be added to the high school transcript. So please check out the articulation matrix. That'll tell you what courses they're eligible to take for dual enrollment, where they're earning college and high school credit. And it also has the deadlines for when they have to have that completed by if they want to have it added to their high school transcript. But your student can choose to take any class they want from any community college or institution they want. If they have an interest in it and they see something they want to do, more power to them. They should go explore that opportunity. It'll still be a benefit to them when applying to colleges. We just have strict rules on what's added to the high school transcript.
Our next question in the chat, can students complete all 40 hours of community service before 12th grade year, or is there a cutoff of 10 hours each year? So we say that typically students need 10 hours each year, but there's no cutoff point. Students can complete all 40 hours freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. So yes, students can complete all 40 hours before senior year. Our next question is, what is the process for PE waiver? Would my sophomore need to submit it before 2024, 2025 scheduling? So typically once students complete all 4 seasons of a sport, that's when they need to complete the PE waiver. So 4 seasons of a sport will waive PE. So if my student's doing 4 years of tennis, we would need that PE waiver after your student completes the fourth season of a sport. And it does not need to be the same sport. So your student can do football 2 years, tennis 1 year, or water polo, as long as it's 4 seasons of a sport. And then our next question is, my daughter took regular English in 10th grade. Can she take English 1A during summer break in Delta College? And when can she, and can she start the process to apply for Delta College? So Mrs. Islami posted our non-MHHS course page in the chat. I'm going to refer you to that page. Our non-MHHS course page tells you everything you need to know about taking Delta level courses with timelines for each course.
In regards to early college questions and what credits count and don't count, I have sent an email to all students giving specific guidelines and instructions on whether they're in cohort 8, 9, or 7, what they should and should not sign up for. Your students should refer to that email that I have sent out multiple times.
Our next question, well, there's 2 questions to this one. So will incoming 12th graders, so a current 11th grader, will they be able to take any summer classes with a community college and have that count on the Mountain House High transcript, have it articulated to the Mountain House transcript? No, at this point, the deadline has passed for them to take those senior level requirements. They would have had to be completed by December. So if they have not already completed those senior level requirements, English, Gov, and Econ, they cannot take them this summer for dual enrollment opportunity. They're going to be required to take them with us at Mountain House next year. Now, again, they can choose to take anything they want. So if they choose to take English, Gov, and Econ because they want to, they can, but it's not going to be articulated on the transcript, and they will be required to take it with us this upcoming school year. And the second part to this question is, does taking Tech Com 1 in 12th grade count toward English? So yes, so if your student started the business pathway late and they're going to be taking Tech Com 1 in 12th grade year, that's okay. It still counts as an English class. So that would fulfill their English course for 12th grade year.
The next question is, in CSU GPA calculator page, we are allowed to add maximum 8 honors or AP courses. The student is taking more than 8 courses. then how will this impact GPA calculation? So if your student received an A in an AP and honors classes or a B or whatever it is, the maximum number of honor or AP points that they can add is 8. So that's how it impacts it. The maximum extra points that you're able to add to the GPA is 8 for CSUs. We also have a CSU GPA calculator page. So if they took like 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever, they can only count 8. And the rest of it will go to the regular A, B, C category. And I was saying we do have the presentation on a UC CSU GPA calculator that I'll put in the chat.
Our next question is there a way we can meet a counselor before enrollment? So if your student is currently a Mountain House High student, so if they are a 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade student, yes, you can request a counselor appointment. You can do that by sending an email to your student's counselor. Keep in mind that we are jam-packed right now. So I think each counselor has about 30 or 40 counseling appointment requests waiting for us right now because we've been mostly out of the office for the last 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks in February, we are going to be out of the office because we have to prepare summer school recommendations. We have to check every course request that your student submitted. We have to review transcripts, and we're preparing junior status letters. So if you need an appointment, just keep in mind that it may not happen till the end of February or until March. In the meantime, you can send us an email, and we're happy to address any questions through email. If you are an 8th grade parent asking this question, you will have the opportunity to meet with your counselor when your student starts with us here in 9th grade. So in August, that opportunity will be available to you. If your student is coming from out of district and you are asking this question, if you are an out of district student trying to transfer into Mountain House High School, once you go through the enrollment process at the district office level, you will be assigned a counselor meeting. And at that point, that would be your opportunity to meet with us.
The next question is, if English 12 is done during the summer from Delta for a sophomore, which course should be completed? So for Delta, there's a English 1A or 1B. That was also included in the question. But you have to complete 1A prior to 1B at Delta. That's one of their prerequisites. So 1A or 1B will count for English 12. It's just a matter of if your student has already done 1A, then they can go to 1B. If they haven't done 1A, then they wouldn't go to 1B, and they would just complete 1A as their English 12 requirement, and that works.
Okay, our next question is, can government and econ be taken together at Delta during summer? Yes, your student can take government and econ at Delta over summer. The courses are Econ 5 and Poli-Sci 1. Yeah, your student can take both courses at the same time.
Just to piggyback on that, we actually prefer for them to take both of them at Delta College if they're going to take one at Delta College, because it creates a scheduling issue for us in their senior year when they need to take one but not the other, since they are together, offered together in a year.
Our next question is AP Statistics versus AP Calc BC. Any guidance on which to take for pre-med and CS? Do colleges prefer one over the other? Honestly, I would direct you to whichever colleges your counselor or your student is interested in. I would recommend you reach out to their counseling department and ask that question. Even as a high school student, they are eligible to reach out to those college counselors and ask them whatever questions they might have. So they would be able to provide some good guidance on what courses your student should take. Both AP Stats and AP Calc BC are going above and beyond the required and recommended level for math. So they've already reached that advanced level. Whatever one they're more interested in, if they performed well in AB and enjoyed it and want to continue, go for it. Also, AP statistics is involved in most majors in campus in a major. So having a statistics class could be a benefit because many majors in college do require you to take a statistics class. So by taking either AP statistics or statistics, they're getting an opportunity to learn some of that material before moving on to that next step. So just a personal decision there.
Our next question is, how many maximum AP courses does a student need to take every year? So a student doesn't need to take any honors in AP if they don't want to. We always tell them, like, hey, just keep in mind that if you're in honors and AP courses, those are going to be your courses for the full year. You're not going to be able to drop out of those courses. So if your student is struggling in those courses, they're going to kind of have to stick with it. With that being said, we recommend no more than 2 just because of the workload. We don't limit them so they can take more than that, but they definitely don't need to take any to excel in high school. The next question is, can a junior retake chemistry honors class due to low grades in the 10th grade during summer? So we are not going to be offering honors AP retakes during the summer. So they would be, if they got perhaps a D or an F in chemistry, we will send those summer school letters out at the end of February to beginning of March. We would put whether that class is recommended or required for your students to retake. And then we would give them that option of taking chemistry. So we don't offer that honors for summer. So if they do end up taking chemistry over the summer, then it wouldn't necessarily take off of their honors grade that is low on their transcript.
So we have a question on here that I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but you were talking about the GPA calculator presentation and asking about, how the community college classes impact that GPA when they're on the transcript. If your student is interested in calculating their UC-CSU GPA, I would recommend they either sign up for one of our success sessions or they can email their counselor and request an appointment. We can print their transcript and we can help them calculate that GPA and show them how that's done. So.
Okay, our next question is, can a student take dance class 11th or 12th grade year? If yes, is the class full? Or is it a full year class? Yes, your student can take dance, beginning dance, 11th or 12th grade. Yes, and yes, it is a full year class. Our next question is culinary a good pathway for 10th grade? Can they change it to another pathway in 11th grade? So if your student's interested in taking culinary, yes, I would say culinary is a great pathway. There's also no requirement to complete the pathway. So if your student doesn't like culinary, next year he could always move into a different pathway.
So we have another question, and again, I'm a little bit confused in what you're asking. It says, if my kid did U.S. history in Delta College, will UCs and CSUs take the no of subjects as 2 or 1? For the no of subjects used for calculating state index. So I'm not really sure what you're asking there. I would, please resubmit your question. I'm going to attempt to address it. But if your student did U.S. history in Delta College, and as long as they complete it within our timeline, it's going to be part of their Mountain House High transcript. So it would be included in that GPA calculation that they're using for college admissions purposes. Our next question is, if my son took Hindi from one of the accredited schools in 9th grade, but he dropped it in 10th grade and switched to Spanish, which he will complete by 12th grade, would this impact his GPA? Is it possible to drop the Hindi grade from the transcript? So once something is added to the high school transcript, we will not remove it. So if you don't want something added, you need to make sure to communicate that to the counselor prior to the transcript being sent. But once it's on the transcript, it will not be removed. Anything that's on the Mountain House High transcript will be impacting the overall GPA.
The next question is, my kid has completed 9th and 10th grade in India. I would like to enroll him for 11th grade. I want to meet with a counselor before enrollment. How can we reach you? So you basically would have to do the enrollment process, and then a meeting gets scheduled with us to look at classes. We don't necessarily meet with students that aren't technically ours yet.
Okay, our next question is, how hard is history on honors online? Any disadvantage to taking an online course? I would say typically online classes are harder than in-person classes. No, there's no disadvantage to taking an online course. Typically honors courses, you could expect about an hour of homework a night versus regular courses. You could expect about half an hour of homework a night. The question also asks about the dance class to skip PE. Yes, beginning dance, we'll waive 1 year of PE. The question also asks about credits. So 5 credits. Students, for every class students take at the high school, they get 5 credits a semester and 10 credits a school year. And the last part of the question is adulting a required course? Yes, adulting is a required course for high school graduation. It's a senior level course.
The next question is, if a student is already attending early college with Delta College, are there any more summer courses which can boost GPA in Delta College, and when can student enroll in those courses? If a student isn't taking summer classes and they're in the pathway, they can take other classes. All the articulated courses that we have are a part of early college, so there are no extra articulated courses. But if they want to take classes that are not part of the cohort, they can take it if they'd like. The next question is, my son is planning to take chemistry in sophomore year. Can he take 11th grade physics in Delta College during the summer if the course is offered? All the courses, I mean, he can take physics in Delta College during the summer if he wants to, but we do not articulate those courses. We also don't prevent students from taking courses that they would like to take at Delta College. We just don't add every course they take there onto their high school transcript. So if they want to take it and show colleges that they have taken it, that's great. But for graduation purposes and graduation requirements, they will still have to take the class with us. The next question is, any prerequisites for English 11 that can be taken at Delta? Delta doesn't offer English 11, they offer English 1A. And if you go to Delta College's website, they also have a course catalog, and it tells you every prerequisite that is required for each course that students want to take. So you can visit their website to get more information on that.
Our next question is, my son is taking Math 3 honors. Is there any prerequisite to taking AP Statistics in 11th grade? Can he take AP Calculus in 12th grade? So if your student is currently in Math 3 honors and they want to take AP Statistics next year, they're eligible to do so. And then, yes, if they wanted to take the AP Calculus in 12th grade, they could do that. But I would actually recommend that they swap them. I would recommend that they continue in the AP Calculus AB class next year, because that's what Math 3 honors is preparing them for. AP Stats is a really different type of math. So it would be better to not have that gap year in between Math 3 honors and AP Calculus and save the AP Stats for senior year. Ultimately, it's their decision, but that's just our recommendation.
The next question is, can students repeat Delta College articulated courses for better grades? So once your student has a Delta College course on our transcript, or really any articulated course that they have taken on our transcript, we're not going to remove that grade off of our transcript. However, if they want to adjust their Delta College transcript and try for better grades, that's something that they would have to ask Delta about for their policies.
Our next question is, can visual arts and performing or visual or performing arts be waived? If a student does PE for 2 years, or is it mandatory? So, for graduation purposes, to earn their high school diploma, they need to take either a world language or a visual or performing arts. So one or the other, just 1 year long course. And then the 2 years of PE is required. If your student is interested in applying to 4-year colleges during their senior year, they are going to have to take 1 year of a visual or performing arts and 2 years of a world language in the same language. So, for example, they would need Art 1, Spanish 1, and Spanish 2, and still need those 2 PE classes for graduation purposes.
Our next question is the business pathway or culinary pathway more recommended for 10th grade? So pathways were designed for students to figure out what they're interested in. If your student thinks they want to major in business in college, I would recommend them stick to the business pathway. But if they're interested in culinary, they could take the culinary pathway too. There's nothing wrong with that.
So we have a question that says, do we have data on Mountain House graduates attending colleges in Canada or the UK? Where can I find this? So every Mountain House High student has access to a Naviance account, and Naviance is used for college and career research. Parents also have access to a Naviance parent version. They must email their student's counselor if they're interested in having access to that parent Naviance account. Each year, we collect data from our seniors to see where they are applying, where they were accepted, and what their GPA looked like when they were with us at Mountain House. And graphs are created to show you what like an average Mountain House High student looks like in regards to GPA, who's getting accepted or denied into those campuses. So I would recommend that you take a look at the presentation that was just posted in the chat. That's can be found on the counseling blog under those college workshops. We gave a presentation on how to use Naviance for college and career research. If your student is a current junior, they're going to receive a presentation this spring about preparing for life for next year and college applications. Part of that presentation is showing them how to utilize Naviance. So you would basically just have to go to Naviance and try to find the UK or Canada schools that you're interested in. My guess is that the data for the Canada and the UK schools is probably more limited because we just don't have a significant amount of students applying to campuses in Canada and UK. It does happen, but it's not super common. So data will just be limited, and especially depending on which campus you're looking at.
The next question is, currently freshman has engineering pathway course. Is there any risk of not getting the next engineering course in sophomore year? So we always try to give them their pathway courses that, if they're going second, third, and completer course, just so that they are able to complete the pathway. However, if there is some conflict in their schedule, like 2 periods conflicting with another, 2 classes in the same period, that would be a conflict. If something like that happens, that could be a potential risk, but we definitely try to give them their subsequent pathway courses.
Our next question is, as UCs consider a maximum of 8 AP courses, are honors courses included in the 8 semesters of AP courses that CSUs and UCs consider? Yes, honors courses are included. CSUs and UCs, they consider 8 semesters of AP or honors courses.
Our next question is, can a student take Gov, Econ, and English 1A during the summer break at Delta? Your suggestion if it's too much to take both or all 3? It's really up to your student. I would recommend reaching out to Delta and asking them how much time is typically dedicated to each class. They should be able to give you an estimate, and that can better help prepare you and your students' decision for how much time and what they feel prepared for. Keep in mind, anything that they take at Delta is a permanent college record, so you want to be careful about not taking on too much and not performing well in those classes, because it's going to travel with them wherever they go next. It is a permanent college record. So again, personal decision. If your student has no other plans during the summer, we do see students take up to 3 in the summer session and, do totally fine, or, do really well. But it's really an individual decision, and you have to determine what you have time for and what you're prepared for.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The next question is, are applied computer science and adulting calculated on a scale 4 or 5 in GPA? In other words, are they equal to an honors class or basic level class? So those ones, they're not the honors level classes. Anything that's honors or AP, those will be 5 points. But for anything that's not honors AP, they will be 4 points.
The next question is, why is Chinese 3 in 11th grade transcript doesn't have a P next to it? Does it not count for UC CSU GPA calculation? It is a college prep class. That might just be an error that we can fix. I wanted to really quickly, for questions about whether or not a class is UC CSU approved, I posted a link to our UC doorways. When you go to this website and you search Mountain House High School, all of our classes and the years they were offered will pop up. You can click on the course list, for example, Chinese 3. You can see here that it is considered for a language other than English. That means that UCs and CSUs do approve this class, and it is considered a language other than English. That means it is college prep, and it will be counted in the GPA. This website is very helpful anytime you have questions about whether or not a class is UC CSU approved and whether or not you should consider it college prep. You can check this website.
Our next question is, do you offer AP Physics 1 class? So we do offer an AP class, AP Physics class. I am going to refer you to our course catalog. Mrs. Aslami has posted this in the chat. Our course catalog has every course we offer at the high school, along with prerequisites for each course. So please make sure you take a look at the course catalog.
And specifically, just to piggyback on that, it is the AP Physics C course. It's what it's titled. Our next question is, can students apply for internships from 9th or 10th grade? Where can they apply for internships? So internships is really a student-driven activity. So that's something that they need to spend time researching if it's something they're interested in doing. On the screen, you will see the High School Navigator website. We also linked it in the chat for you guys. I would recommend they go to that HS Navigator, High School Navigator page, because you can search by state, by city, zip code, and you can find internship and summer program opportunities. Some of these you have to pay for, some of these are free, and some of these your student may earn a stipend for completing it. So when we hear about something, like if we get contacted by a specific organization, that's something that we support, we will send that information out to students, but that just kind of comes in randomly as we get contacted by different organizations. We recommend students really do their own research if they're interested in participating in an internship.
The next question is, my son has chosen a computer science pathway. He likes to take band in Spanish in 9th grade. He will be taking computer courses from 10th grade. Should he take any computer course in 9th grade to get placed in the computer science pathway? So if your student starts the computer science pathway, or really any of our pathways in 10th grade, there's a CTE guideline under course selection on our website that's in the counseling area. If you take a look at that, it will show you the classes that he can take starting 10th and then going into 11th and 12th to complete the pathway. So he doesn't need to take any computer course in 9th grade to get placed in the pathway. He would just have to request that in 10th grade for him to get to the class. Nothing is guaranteed, so we're not going to guarantee that he gets it in the 10th grade, but there is an option for them to complete it starting in the 10th grade.
Our next question is, my sophomore is in computer science pathway. Can he take business pathway in junior year alongside with the computer science pathway? So yes, that is, your student does have the option to take 2 pathway courses the same year. It is not guaranteed that he'll be able to get into the business pathway, but he would start with Introduction to Business, the first level of the pathway. Our next question, my student is taking Math 3 honors in sophomore year. Can he take AP Calculus BC in junior year? No. So AP Calculus BC has a prerequisite of AP Calculus AB. I'm going to refer you to our course catalog. It has been posted in the chat. Our course catalog is every course we offer at the high school with prerequisites for each course.
The next question is the data mentioned by Ms. Russo available publicly? Like Mountain House students applied where they were accepted with what GPA? I would be interested in those charts. Can you email me the link? Can I get the latest school data profile? So you can find the school profile on our website. Another thing, so for the Naviance that Ms. Russo had mentioned earlier, your student can log into Naviance. That's something that all of our students have. They can log into it and they can search specific colleges. And so long that they click on admissions and scroll down, there should be a chart where they can see what GPAs were accepted at certain schools that they have looked up and which ones were not. So I would just have your student log into Naviance. Like Ms. Russo mentioned, we are going to be having some presentations on Naviance. If your student hasn't learned how to get into Naviance, we have success sessions on it. We'll work on having classroom presentations on it as well. So for right now, the instructions to log in are on our website, along with where you can find the school profile. Another question is, in junior now, what courses should be taken during summer to cover up A to G criteria? So for courses here at the high school, we don't offer courses that they can take over summer to advance in our courses for fall and spring semester. The summer courses for us, if they were to take them at the high school, it would be because they're remediating a course. Now, if you're talking about Delta College courses, I'm going to refer you to our non-MHHS course page. That's also under counseling on our website. There's an articulation matrix, which is a chart that we have linked on the side on that page that you'll be able to see what courses they can take over summer to clear up some of the criteria that they would have to take with us. But a bulk of those courses would be like their English courses, their Gov Econ. Now, if they are a junior right now, the last time to articulate courses onto our transcript would have been fall of their 11th grade year. So definitely take a look at that webpage, see if anything would be useful to you and your student.
The next question is, are UCs still considering the ACT score for college application? They are not. Actually, if your student takes the SAT and submits their score, they will not even use it for acceptance purposes at all. And then the second part to that question is, what year do you recommend taking the SAT? So if your student is applying to a school that still requires the SAT, we recommend taking it at the end of junior year. That way, if they need to retake it, they'll have the beginning of their senior year to retake that.
Okay, before we get to our next question, I want to remind everybody that we have about 10 minutes left of our presentation. So at 10, we will conclude the presentation. Our next question, my daughter has taken biology a 9th grade year, physics in 10th grade year. A teacher has suggested her not take AP physics in 11th grade year. Can she do chemistry 11th grade and then physics AP her senior year? Yes, she could do chemistry in 11th grade year. As long as she meets the prerequisites for AP physics, she can take that senior year. So please take a look at the course catalog. It's been posted in the chat. So as long as she meets the prerequisites, she could take AP physics senior year. Our next question, is it mandatory to take Adulting 101 for 1 year or for 2 years in high school? And what grade do students usually take this in? So 1 year of adulting is required for high school graduation, and this is a class students take in senior year. So students do not have the option to take Adulting 101 freshman, sophomore, or junior year. They will be taking this class in their senior year.
There's a question in relation to studying Sanskrit. That is not one of the language academies that our high school has principal certified. So there's nothing. If you want to send your student's counselor a specific email to answer that question, I don't know too much about that language, and it's not one of our language academies.
So we don't have any questions being asked in our chat. If you do have any questions, please make sure you use that QR code or the tiny URL code in the on the presentation.
So we do have one question that popped up. How to boost GPA being a junior with 2 APs so far. And as mentioned, requirement for getting into UCs is about 7 to 8 APs. How to meet requirements to get into UCs. So there's no requirement for having to do a certain amount of APs and honors classes for getting into a UC. So they're not going to require you to take 7 or 8 APs during your high school years to get into their college. Honors and APs, they will boost GPA, as well as if you do a regular course and get a good grade in that course. So there's definitely no requirement, no number of APs that you would have to take to meet a requirement to get into the UCs. Now, with that being said, the UCs are really competitive, so keep that in mind when thinking about how to boost GPA. The main thing is just getting really good grades in classes so that your GPA does go up. In terms of the 8 APs honors, that's going to be for GPA calculation. That is points that they use. They use a maximum of 8 points for that GPA calculation. So just to clarify, there's no requirement of APs honors that they would have to take to get in, but definitely keep in mind that those colleges are competitive, so they do want higher GPAs and things like that.
There's one final question in the chat. The question is asking, I see that there are online electives mentioned on the Mountain House course list. Are these courses only for online students, or any students can take them? Any students can put online classes into their course request if they want to take one or two. If they're taking 2 online classes, they must keep 5 face-to-face classes. If they want to be an online student, they can do that. They can have 4 up to, so they can have at least 4 online classes. There's more information on our website in regards to being an online student or an in-person student and how many onlines each pathway can take. Also, I just wanted to mention that if a student doesn't want to take any online classes, they don't have to take any online classes. But if they wanted to try one, they can.
Okay, our next question is, my son is in 10th grade. He is choosing computer science pathway. Is she required to take chemistry? No, students are not required to take chemistry to be in the computer science pathway. Our next question is, if I have more questions in the future, should I use the same Google form? No, please don't use the Google form. We will not be looking at this Google form. You could email your student's counselor. You could find their email on the Mountain House High School website under counseling. And our last question before we conclude this presentation is pros and cons for signing into NCAA. So if your student's planning to play a college level sport, we recommend you make an appointment with your counselor because there is a separate set of requirements for your student to be NCAA. If your student does not want to play a college level sport, your student does not need to be NCAA. Okay, so we are going to conclude this presentation. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions after, please feel free to email your counselor. You could find our emails on the Mountain House High School website. Thank you. Have a nice day.